She started out the week on Good Morning America, and now she is closing out the week starring in an Adidas commercial highlighting the new shoes that are about to be released. Sophie Cunningham has taken the ball and ran with it. For that, Sophie Cunningham, kudos to you.
Sophie Cunningham recently demonstrated that she doesn't require the WNBA, despite the league's belief that she could be silenced. The league is her. When Sophie eventually entered the spotlight following weeks of rumors, betrayals, and unspoken tension inside the Indiana Fever, everything changed. The entire WNBA was rocked by what she disclosed and what she did next. Sophie Cunningham remained silent for months. She gave it her all, stood by Caitlin Clark like a sister, and kept her head down while the league ignored her. However, she was furious behind the scenes since Sophie witnessed everything. How Caitlin was never really respected by the WNBA, and how, up until now, something has always pulled them back down whenever the Fever attempted to build.
I'm just being me, and I'm being honest, and I'm being truthful, and there's a lot of people who maybe have the same views that they just don't feel like they can say because you could get fined or people could take it the wrong way, but I just
find every
single time.
Sophie didn't tweet or post when she eventually spoke. It was shown on national television. "If they don't respect us, maybe they don't deserve us," she continued, looking directly into the camera while sitting beneath the bright lights of Good Morning America. Everything changed at that very instant. Social media went crazy a few hours following the interview. Adidas. Yes, Sophie Cunningham was the main star of Adidas' new worldwide campaign.
Salute to Sophie Cunningham. I like the nicknames Extra Spicy, Electric Pink. Absolutely awesome. I'm so happy to see Sophie coining it. I'd like her to get enough money to buy a house so that she can play for the team she wants to play for, not be focused on the earnings. Sophie Cunningham, folks, between her Instagram and her TikTok, I'm sure she's already racking in enough bread to buy a house.
Cunningham, Sophie, it was a big thing. This was not your typical sponsorship. According to people close to Adidas, it might be valued at more than $1 billion by 2026. Sophie's vision, voice, and influence became the foundation of a billion-dollar relationship. However, Sophie made one startling request prior to signing the contract. She desired for Caitlin Clark to participate. Yes, it is correct. Sophie informed Adidas that unless Caitlin Clark joined the project, she would not complete the transaction. Friendship, loyalty, and respect. Sophie is an advocate for that. Adidas also adored it. The WNBA, meanwhile, was in a frenzy. Total panic. The front office of the Indiana Fever went into full damage control behind closed doors. Coach Stephanie White and Commissioner Kathy Angelbert reportedly contacted Sophie in an attempt to get her back for 2026, but she didn't respond. Not a single word. Why would she? The league turned a blind eye after years of providing everything: blood, sweat, and tears. The WNBA was no longer necessary for Sophie. Sophie Cunningham was essential to the WNBA, and everyone was aware of it now.
You was just on Good Morning America. You was all out. You got Arby's ads. Now you're doing a lot of stuff. You're interviewing famous rappers and actors and actresses and all types of stuff. Now you was doing your thing with the Phoenix Mercury on the sports broadcasting side.
Whispers became terrifying in press conferences and locker rooms. Players started speculating about Sophie Walk's potential next victim. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark made the league, which had previously seemed unbeatable, appear vulnerable. The next turn of events occurred when the Adidas transaction made headlines. According to reports, Angel Reese posted cryptic emojis online out of rage. According to insiders, she was outraged that Sophie and Caitlin were now the brand's faces after Adidas rejected her months earlier. The two players Angel once referred to as media favorites are the same ones who shaped 2025. Here's the reality, though. Sophie didn't pursue celebrity. She deserved it. When the league became chilly, she stood with Caitlin, and together they created a movement that went beyond basketball. Sophie wasn't promoting a brand on Good Morning America. She was expressing herself. Her eyes sparkled and her voice cracked, but her message was unmistakable. We play with affection. We struggle to be respected. However, one should not ask for respect. It ought to be earned. The audience fell silent. She had just uttered what everyone else was too scared to acknowledge, and every player watching from home knew it.
Care what anyone says, there is a different type of effort and extraness to try to maybe get in their head or try to throw them off their rhythm or whatever. And a majority of the times, those superstars, they don't have that kind of feisty or sassiness to kind of back themselves up, and they need their teammates to do that.
Yeah.
And I have first-handedly seen it this year, and I'm like, all right, like if we're not going to protect our star, like someone has to. And so I credit Draymond. I'm like, that has he taken things a little bit too far sometimes? Absolutely.
The internet went crazy when Caitlin Clark tweeted that interview with just one fire emoji. The comments were bombarded by millions of fans. The new era has begun. The WNBA is not necessary for them. They are essential to the WNBA. Panic, meanwhile, gave way to pleading within the Fever organization. Coach Stephanie White reportedly said in private, "Sophie, we built this team for you and Caitlin. Don't leave right now." Sophie, however, remained silent, not because she was done, but rather because she was concentrating on something more significant, the Adidas global stage with Caitlin at her side. This was no longer just about basketball. It has to do with legacy. In 2026, the Fever desired her return. However, Sophie is creating her own kingdom. Just picture it. $1 billion agreement, two of the strongest female basketball players, and the largest sports brand in the world.
$600,000 a year, that's enough for a house. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a max contract to get Sophie Cunningham to stay on the Indiana Fever. It just needs to be a quality contract. We respect what you've done for our franchise contract. We understand what you contribute to this team contract. We're not going to undervalue your contributions contract. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be some massive deal, because I wouldn't give her a max deal either. I'd give her something close to. But I can't give you a max deal when I'm getting ready to pay Caitlin a max deal once her rookie contract's up, right? You get the third year, and then you can extend her and hit her with that rookie extension. I'm sure that's going to be in the CBA. You're going to get ready to pay Caitlin a max contract. You're going to get ready to pay AB, I'm assuming the Indiana Fever, a max contract. Do you want to
Caitlin and Sophie next to each other, rethinking what respect in women's sports actually means, not competing for attention. Adidas is aware of it. It's visible to the supporters. Even the WNBA is now aware that Sophie Cunningham cannot be replaced. Players can be replaced, but courage, loyalty, and enthusiasm cannot. Sophie possesses all three. One thing is evident as the league silently observes. Sophie Cunningham is not giving up. She's ascending. The WNBA had an opportunity to treasure her. Rather, they encouraged her to achieve greatness. It's no longer a matter of whether the Fever will help her recover. The question is whether the WNBA can continue to exist without.